Hello, this is Helen Constance. Today I'll be showing you how to take measurements. To prepare to take measurements, what you need to do is wear a seamless bra and a seamless brief. So that way when you're taking the measurement, it's nice and smooth. Before we begin taking measurements, I place a cotton tape around the waistline. It's about 5mm. You can purchase it anywhere. Spotlight, arts and crafts store, anybody can purchase it online. This is how I begin my measurement task. This cotton tape is placed around the waistline and this is used as a reference point. So for example, if you're going to take a measurement from the neckline to the waist and from the waist to the floor, this gives you the exact point, reference point from where you need to take your measurements. We're going to take a couple of measurements. We're going to start with A, the height. Okay, so you've got to make sure you don't have any shoes on, so barefoot. You obviously need somebody to help you with this. So someone needs to be holding the tape measure. You need to stand against the wall, nice and straight, posture up. You get your friend or your mum or whoever it is, and then you measure from the top of your head down to the bottom of your heel. Moving on to the next measurement, which is B, the bust. We're taking the tape measure, placing it around the circumference of the body, around the bust, around the nipple, and we're placing it here, and you can see that I've just taken the measurement of the bust. Now we're moving on to under bust. So we have to place the tape measure around the circumference of the body, around the body, and that's where it's placed, where the bra cup ends. That's where you take your under bust. Now we're taking measurement for the waistline, which is the smallest part of the body. We're placing the tape measure around the waistline where the cotton tape is, where we placed in the beginning, and we place it around the waistline, and then that's where your true waist is. A lot of the girls are telling me, oh Helen, how do I take my hip measurement? Because you know there's a hip and then there's a hip. So the high hip is the high hip. You know, it's from the waist down is about 18 centimetres, that's your high hip. But your true hip is actually around the bottom area of your bottom. So I'm going to show you that because that's the widest part of the body, which is completely normal. Okay, because I say that to the girls all the time. Okay, to get it accurate, especially if you've got a fitted gown. If you're wearing a fitted gown and you want a really good fit, you must measure it around the bottom. And a lot of people don't know that. So I'm telling you now that you must measure it around the bottom. So here's around the front, and now I'm going to show you around the back. So now we've got the back of the mannequin. So I'm going to measure the hip and show you around the back area, because I showed you the front, now I'm showing you the back. So we're placing the tape measure around the circumference of the body, and this is your hip around the bum area, like so. Okay, so next measurement, we're looking at hollow to waist. So tape measure, okay, we place the tape measure on the hollow where your neck is, and we place it all the way down to where the tape is. That's where your true waistline is. So it's from neck to waist, which is hollow to waist. That's where you know where your hollow to waist measurement is. So we're up to G. We're taking waist to floor for your skirt measurement. Waist to floor. Okay, next measurement, hollow to floor, which is very easy. You just add your hollow to waist and you add that to your waist to floor. Then you get your complete measurement of hollow to floor. Our next measurement is shoulder to bust point. So shoulder to bust point, where your nipple is. Our next measurement is from shoulder to waist. So we start from the top of the shoulder through the bust point down to the waistline. Next measurement is K, nipple to nipple, which is from nipple to nipple. Mostly bust point to bust point is about 18 centimetres, between 18 and 21 centimetres, 22. L, we're up to L. This is another important measurement. It's to do with your neckline. So from the waist up, you're going to decide how deep you want your neckline. If you're doing a sweetheart neckline, you measure from the middle of your bust point, which is here, down to the waistline. We're up to M, and we're doing the front of the shoulder width. Starting from your shoulder point, going across to the end of your other shoulder point. This is for the center front shoulder width. How to measure the back of your shoulder, which is across the back. So you're starting at the shoulder, at the end of your shoulder, and you're going across the back, across from your neck around the other side of your shoulder. So that's your shoulder width at your center back. I've placed the arm onto the mannequin just so that you can see why I'm doing this. We're going to measure the torso circumference of the body. So this is very important. It's placed underneath the arm, an inch underneath the armhole, you see? And then you place that underneath and you go over the bust, and that is your torso circumference. We're up to O, armhole. Okay, very important. You place the tape measure underneath the armhole and you place it over the top, like so. And then you'll have your armhole measurement. Okay, we're moving on to P, bicep. So I normally get the girls to just give me a flex like this, and then I place it around the largest part of their arm. The next measurement is the sleeve length, Q, sleeve length. So from the end of your shoulder where your arm begins, that's your sleeve length. But normally I get the girls to bend the arm. So let's just pretend that we're bending the arm. Okay, so you must bend the arm to get the full width. So you measure it behind the elbow and down to the wrist. So next measurement is R, which is your shoe measurement. So you measure at the top of your heel down to the bottom of your heel, then you know what your measurement is of your shoe. S, which is side seam across the nipple around to the other side of the side seam of your bust. So you start your tape measure on the side seam of your bust line. So if you're wearing a bra and there's a seam there, you just pop the tape measure on the seam, on the side seam of your bust, yeah? And it goes over the top of the nipple, around the other side of the torso. Okay. We are up to T, which is the train from waist to floor. So I've turned the mannequin around at the center back. So now, waist to floor length of your train. My length is 150 centimetres. It's up to you how long you want your train. Now we're going to measure center back bodice line. So if you want a conservative bodice, it's from where your bra strap is. So you want to cover the bra strap. So it's above the bra strap, which is here, down to the waistline. That's your center back length. Our next measurement, we are up to V, which is the neck girth. So I'm placing the tape measure around the neck and placing the tape measure around the neck girth. All right, we're up to W, which is wrist. Okay, here we go. Around the wrist, we're measuring with the tape measure. We're up to X. You must have your elbow bent like so and wrap the tape measure around your elbow to get the width, the right width. This is not going to be the width. You need to bend your arm when you've got a sleeve on. So it's really important that you measure your elbow when you've got your arm bent like so. Shoulder to elbow length is very important. You must measure it from the top of your sleeve down to the elbow, but where the elbow is, where your little bone is, you've got to make sure that when you're measuring it from the top of your shoulder and you're measuring all the way down, that it covers that bone here. It's just a lot more flattering, and you'll be able to bend your arm like so. If you do it further up on the bone, you won't be able to, it'll be very uncomfortable for you to be bending your arm. So you always make it below the actual bone of your elbow. All right, we're up to Z, which is the last measurement, yay. Okay, so this is really important, okay? You don't want to end up having a short sleeve. So full length sleeve is from the top of the shoulder, so where your actual sleeve head begins, that's where you place the tape measure, right here, up the top. And then what you do is you place the tape measure around the elbow, but you need to bend your arm to get your full length, to get the correct length. Always bend your arm and then continue down to the wrist. And that's your full length of sleeve. Hello, this is Helen Constance. If you like our videos, click like and subscribe.